Hi, Francois. Thank you for joining us. Can you tell me what was the source of success of the company during the crisis days, and more importantly, what will be the source of success in the recovery period? What in DNA of the company, what in the DNA of an organization, and in the leadership is crucial to be able to benefit from, let's hope, some kind of a recovery.
Hello, Marek. There are a couple of words that really doesn't come to mind, right, when we're talking about COVID is success, benefiting. What is really important to remember is, as a company, we're not an isolated island, right? We're really a part of the Polish economy and the network of small and medium businesses and tens of millions of consumers. So what actually, in a period of crisis, what it brings in terms of DNA are the core basics of the company. And our core basics are reasonably simple. We care about the customer long term. So by this we mean offering great choice, low price, and great delivery. We want to have a very healthy seller base, which means we care about the Polish ecosystem of small and medium businesses. And when a crisis like this happens, those principles come to the forefront. So first, obviously, this only works if we have employees that are engaged and safe. So the first pivot is, how can we make our employees safe? That meant that we pivoted to working from home almost immediately. And that meant, obviously, we're a digital company, so a lot of those processes were already almost ready. But it was absolutely impressive how the employees pivoted and kept the business going while going through that period of uncertainty for them. The second one is based on those principles. How can we help consumers? And here, having the employees engaged and coming up with ideas quite quickly came, okay, how can we make consumers shop even easier online? How can we make it safer? So how, with our partners, logistic providers, we can make the delivery process social distancing. And then you'll have heard about the merchant support program. A lot of small and medium businesses were impacted. How can we help them also in that period?
So it's pretty much about the client. It is, like as it always was and will be in a business, it's all about the client and understanding what he needs and what he will need in the future.
It's in a company like ours, it's always about the customers and the customers long term. So what is true before the crisis is true during the crisis. And if you do the right thing even more during the crisis, you establish even more trust. That is also a good base for your long-term business in relationship with your customers. And that's also true with the merchants.
How this new normal will look like? What will be crucial in your view for the clients, for the consumers in the future? So how should one position the company and a business line to benefit from the recovery?
I think first, we all hope that normal becomes normal again as soon as possible, both for our private, social, family, and overall safety, right? So during that transition period, which hopefully is as short as possible, is again, how can you use the flexibility and the tools that you have at your disposal to make it better for your employees, for your consumers, for your providers and sellers, and how you can use the shared spirit and innovation of the teams to make it happen. So, for example, we pivoted the team and we gave them a blank a canvas to say, okay, come up with new ideas. And again, the number of ideas at the very beginning in terms of sourcing masks, shields, testing labs for hospitals at the beginning was quite impressive. And it's where you see actually where the engagement of the employees is so important. Even during that period of crisis, the engagement of employees, we just finished the survey, ended up being much above what kind of new tech companies like ours is internationally.
You said that at one point that you need to answer the question how to make consumers, move to shopping online even more than they did. already. So what is your view on how far we can go in this digitalization of the economy? How many processes we can do? Because if you look at the economy in general, the whole infrastructure that we have is built for the traditional way of consuming: cinemas, shopping malls, swimming pools, restaurants. It is all things that cannot be digitalized easily.
I mean, the digitalization of the economy is something that is ongoing. It's been ongoing for the last few years and will continue over the next few. I think the basic data here is in Poland, about 8-9% of retail is online. It's about twice as much in the UK or Germany, and it's actually 2.5 to 3 times in some Asian countries. So this trend is continuing. It's true that during a period like the one we have, a number of those benefits are even more important, meaning access to millions and millions of products within the comfort of your home without going and having to go to crowded places, having it at very low prices and having a very fast and secure delivery. All those things become even more important. But those things are true at any time. It just happened that in the current circumstances, they become even more true. And where it's important is, especially now that it's more relevant to consumers, is to do it very well, meaning to make sure that the delivery is on time, to make sure that the prices are affordable and reachable for consumers. And if you do that right during those difficult periods, again, customers, when hopefully soon the normal times come, tend to have tried a platform like ours and then keep on using it.
And the very last thing, you mentioned employees being able to engage in the local communities and help them. What was the key to keep the engagement of employees in such a challenging time, and how it transformed the very idea of what is CSR, what is a responsible company?
So it goes a little bit back. So the engagement of employees goes a little bit back to the true DNA of the company and our culture. You have a unique mix of passionate, a mix of tech and non-tech. And this, when you want to start to scale an idea, is an amazing starting point, right? You have people that deeply care about the consumer and that have a unique mix of abilities between technology and non-technology, that at the end of the day, when you tell them, hey, let's try to think how we can help with this, the distance between thinking of the idea and implementing it is super short. And they deeply care that most often you don't even need to have to ask. They proactively come and say, hey, François, I have that idea, or whoever in the leadership team. And some of them within, maybe not hours, but within a couple of days, they're launched.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, François, for your time. And we are going back to stage.